Hello teacher and friends, welcome to my video presentation. For those who don't know me, my name is Luong Khang, and I've made this video presentation in order to introduce to you my teaching plan for the Intel Teach Essential course instructed by Mr. Luong. And my teaching plan is also my final assignment. Basically, I'm in charge of making a teaching plan for Unit 5, Doing Your Duty, in the Ready for FC book by Roy Norris. And in today's presentation, I'm going to talk about only one thing, that is the portfolio. Okay, my portfolio consists of 4 main folders: the unit plan, the unit support, the student sample, and lastly the assessment folders. I'm gonna go through them separately. Alright, now let's start with the unit plan. Okay, so the first thing I like to mention in my unit plan is the unit overview. Well, the title of my unit is Doing Your Duty. By learning this unit, my students will be able to improve their phone skills in English and also their vocabulary, grammar, and their use of English in general. So the topic is all about jobs and duties. And after they have finished the unit, not only will my students be able to improve their English ability, but they can also gain a wealth of knowledge and experience about the world of occupations. Besides, my students' autonomy and communication skill will also be boosted, thanks to a project that they will have to work on. That project is the backbone of my teaching plan or my unit. So in the project, they will have to conduct a survey on the working ethics of different kinds of companies in Ho Chi Minh City. The subject area for the unit is English and occupations. And as this unit is completely devoted to occupations, it is therefore more suitable for the 12th graders to study. And they will study for 4 weeks. And for each week, there will be 4 45-minute periods. Okay, so that is the overview of my unit. Now let's move on to the second one in the unit plan. So I'd like to talk about the targeted content standards. There are only 2 standards, the language competence and the 21st century skills. For the language competence, my students will be able to reach the B2 level according to the Common European Framework. And as for the skills, they will be able to equip themselves with critical thinking, resourcefulness, communication, and also presentation skills. Okay, so those standards will be materialized through the student objectives, which is also the next thing that I like to bring up in the unit plan. Okay, there is a wide range of objectives. As you can see, the first 4 objectives are for the students' language competence, and the last 4 ones are essential for their mastering 21st century skills. There is one objective which is the most important part in the unit. That is answering the essential question by reporting the findings of their survey project. Okay, so how will they go about studying this unit? Well, they will have to answer 3 kinds of curriculum framing questions. Alright, and as you may know, my students will answer the essential question, what is the importance of working ethics, by answering the unit and the content questions, and also by completing their survey project. Okay, so to be more specific, let's come to the instructional procedure. Like I said before, there will be 4 weeks. From week number 1 to week number 3, they will be able to revise their English skills and also the English aspects. And for week number 4, to be more specific, for the period number 13, they will have a review on all the lessons that they learn in this unit. And for period number 14, they will come to class in order to discuss their project and also to finalize everything on their project, put any questions related to the project, so that they can make their presentation in period number 15, and they will receive the feedback, the comments for their presentations in period number 16. But the project is supposed to start at the beginning of the unit, which is week number 1. Alright, now let's move on to the second folder in the portfolio, the unit support folder. Okay, so how will I support my students? Well, in order to help them in their surveys, which is their final project, I have listed the names of the companies in Ho Chi Minh City, and I have also contacted the representatives of those companies so that they can allow my students to conduct the surveys on their employees. I also provided my students with the steps on how to conduct a survey, and in addition, a PowerPoint presentation on modal verbs is also provided. For the online support, I have also created a group known as Ready for FC Class Mr. Khang. So in this group, I will remind my students of their homework, and this group is also a place for my students to ask any question that they don't know. So in general, I have in-class support and I also have online support, which they can use their knowledge of information technology. Okay, so now let's turn our attention to the third folder of the portfolio, the student sample. As a requirement of the unit, my students have to write an application letter, and I have provided them with a sample application letter for them to analyze. And as for the survey, I also have made a small sample survey. This is just a sample survey, so the actual survey needs to be more detailed and more extensive. Alright, and how can I assess my student? Well, to answer that question, now let's come to the final folder in my unit plan, the assessment folder. I have a variety of assessment tools, such as brainstorming checklist, critical thinking checklist, KWL chart, peer feedback, presentation checklist for their final product, reflection form. So in conclusion, my students will be able to apply their English knowledge to real-life situations by completing their survey project in order to answer the essential question: what is the importance of working ethics? And this is also the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.